UFC Fight Night, Vera versus Sandhagen. Early full card prediction, and it's going to be very early. 11 days till the fight card happens on March 25th. On Saturday, we got the main event, Vera Sandhagen. The co-main event, holy homie, Njokuani. But we got some bangers as well, like Njokuani, Albert Duraev, Manel, Kape, Alex, Perez, Nate Landwehr, Austin, Lingo, CJ Vergara, Daniel da Silva, and even Steven Peterson and Lucas Alexander. We got some fun fights indeed in this UFC Fight Night, and I'm going to go from the bottom to the top and give you guys my early predictions. Like and subscribe if you liked the video so far. Comment your predictions down below. We're going to go from the bottom, make our way to the top. Let's get into it. Tamires, Vidal, and Hailey Cowan. In the bantamweight division, I am going to go Tamires Vidal to go out and win this fight. She's the better striker. She's got more power in her hands, and Hailey Cowan really did not impress me on the Dana White's Contender Series, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. The height and reach does go Hailey Cowan here, but I think Tamires should make this a striking fight and hopefully get the finish. I think she's got a very, very good shot to do so, given that Hailey Cowan got rear naked by Victoria Leonardo and got submitted by Kelly Clayton, a losing record opponent right there. I'm going to go Tamires Vidal inside the distance. I mean, she's got the flying knees, she's got the heel hooks on the LFA, she got the Kimura right there. There's a very high chance this could be a decision win for Tamires Vidal, but I'm very much hoping for a TKO or a submission right here, not in round number 1. Round 1's going to be pretty close, a little bit of a feeling out process, but round 2, I think Tamires Vidal might hurt Hailey Cowan on the feet and finish it with strikes, or submit Hailey Cowan in round number 2. Betting odds for this one are they even out here? Brogan, Walker, CJ Vergara. Do they even have the betting odds for this fight yet? Tamires Vidal. I don't think they have it. That is weird. Well, no betting odds yet for Tamires Vidal and Hailey Cowan, but she's at 84%. I don't think she should be 84% by any means, but we'll see what the betting odds have her at in a little bit. And we got Manuel, Torres, and Trey Ogden in the lightweight division. First thing is first, Trey Ogden is a huge underdog. Not a like minus 400, minus 500 or anything like that. But the man's at plus 166. Plus 166 on the betting odds. That is a lot. That is a lot in my opinion. To have him as a 2-1 underdog in this one is insane in my opinion. Trey Ogden just went out there and beat Daniel Zellhuber, another good Mexican prospect, and he went out there and destroyed him by a unanimous decision, outstruck him for 3 straight rounds, and looked very, very good doing so. Now, Manuel Torres, do you think that Trey Ogden's going to go out there and just easily outstrike Manuel Torres? No. Manuel's got some really good really good power in his hands and good punches and good kicks. So I don't necessarily think Trey Ogden's going to have the striking advantage, given the fact that Manuel Torres was able to go out there and knock out Colton England, Frank Camacho in his UFC debut, and finish a lot of other guys. But this should be a lot closer than most people are thinking. Because Trey Ogden, he's got a very good kicking game, good leg kicks and body kicks and things like that. And he mixes in the ground game very, very well every now and then. So this should be very, very close. I am going to lead Manuel Torres by a very, very close decision. But the odds are a little bit off, and the Tapology is way, way off, especially thinking he's that likely to go out there and get the KO. Fighting an old, aging Frank Camacho at Colton England is one thing, but fighting a Trey Ogden, who to this point in his MMA career has never been KO'd, little bit crazy to have him as that high of a confidence to go out there and get the KO TKO. I think this one goes all the way. Manuel Torres with the decision. Vinicius, Salvador, and Victor Altamirano. It's a 50-51 on Tapology, 50-51 on the betting odds. It's a 50-50 fight. I mean, the odds and topology have it like right where it should be. Vinicius, Salvador, I mean, he was actually getting outstruck a little bit a few times against Shannon Ross. I don't know. Shannon Ross isn't really that good of a guy in this UFC flyweight division. I think Victor Altamirano should go out there with a little bit better wrestling and grappling, and the striking should be very, very even as well. I expect this to be a banger of a fight in the striking between Victor Altamirano and Vinicius Salvador, and then the wrestling and grappling is going to be the thing that edges it out. Victor Altamirano is going to mix in those takedowns from time to time, and I think win it on the judges' scorecards. This is our first underdog of the card. Used to be minus 105. Now he's at minus 108. Very, very slight underdog. Still an underdog, I guess. Victor Altamirano by a close decision. Liang and Brogan Walker in the flyweight division. Do I gotta predict this fight? I mean, it's such a low level, women's MMA, especially in this flyweight division. I don't really want to do it. I really don't want to predict this fight. They're both not that good. The striking, they're both pretty bad strikers, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. The clinching is pretty even. The submission game goes Liang. And I guess the wrestling would go Brogan Walker. So this could either go Liang submits Brogan very, very fast. This could be a 3-round striking fight between Brogan Walker and Liang. Very boring striking fight. 29-28 that goes either way. Or it could be Brogan mixes in the takedowns on the ground, keeps the striking very, very even, and uses the takedowns and ground and pound to win the fight on the judges' scorecards while staying away from the Liang submission. That's what I'm going to go with. The last thing I said, I'm going to go Brogan Walker Sanchez by, or she's not Sanchez anymore, just Brogan Walker by a decision. Steven Peterson and Lucas Alexander in the featherweight division. Again, why is Lucas getting a second fight in the UFC? I know they probably gave him an extra fight to come in on short notice and fight a guy like Joanderson Brito, but Lucas Alexander really is not UFC caliber. He's got solid striking, very, very solid power in his hands and things like that, but Steven Peterson is a much, much better striker. Much, much better striker. Had that split decision with Juliana Rosa, beat Chase Hooper, Martin Bravo, only losing to Alex Caceres and Luis Pena. I do believe Steven Peterson should outstrike him in this one. The height and the reach goes Lucas, but I think the volume is going to go Steven Peterson. Power should be relatively even, maybe a slight edge to Lucas, but I think Steven lands a lot more punches here, and being the veteran that he is, if he needs to wrestle, he'll wrestle. If he needs to grapple, he'll grapple. If he needs the fight to stay on the feet, he'll keep the fight on the feet. He's a veteran of the UFC. I think Steven Peterson gets the dub. 29-28 unanimous decision. If you wanted the betting odds for that one, they did have, where are they? Am I blind? Steven Peterson at minus 170. And the Brogan Walker odds, I'm going to say it right now, bad. Minus 330 for Brogan Walker is insane. That is nuts. There's no chance in hell I would be caught dead betting on Brogan Walker Sanchez at those odds. That is insane. Those are horrible, horrible odds. But that's what the odds have him at. Brogan's like a slight favorite in my opinion. I mean, they have her at like 78% right there. Even that is like pretty much what the odds have her at. But it should literally be like 60%, 55%. That is insane. Trevin, Giles, and Preston Parsons in the welterweight division. I don't know why. I was looking at the betting odds yesterday or the day before, sometime in the past, and they had Trevin Giles as the underdog. Huh? I mean, the man's only lost to, recently, Dricus Duplessis and Michael Morales, undefeated prospects, and like the number 6 or number 7 middleweight in the world. Did I mention middleweight? Not welterweight, middleweight in the world. The man beat Roman Dolidze. The guy's about to fight Marvin Vettori. He went out there and beat him. Why are the odds this close? I don't understand. I could look like a fool after Parsons goes out there and just KOs Trevin Giles, but Trevin's a way better striker on the feet, better kicking game, more speed in the hands. He's taller, he's lengthier, he's in the prime of his MMA career. He's more experienced, he's fought the better guys, he's beaten the better guys. I don't know what's up with this one. I got Trevin Giles by a unanimous decision. Possibly a KO TKO, but most likely a unanimous decision. The betting odds again. Wow, what? One of them has him as the underdog right here. The other ones have him as the slightest of slight favorites, having him as the underdog like a day or two ago. That's crazy. That is crazy in my opinion. So I'm going to go Trevin Giles to win by a decision. Those odds are definitely worth looking at though. Daniel Pineda and Tucker Lutz in the featherweight division. Tucker's not really the finishing type. I don't even remember the last time the man has got a finish. It'd probably be on the regional scene. A little bit taller, a little bit lengthier than Daniel Pineda. A lot younger than Daniel Pineda as well. The striking should be very, very even. Jiu-jitsu goes Daniel Pineda, and the wrestling goes Tucker Lutz. So if Tucker's out striking Daniel, he'll keep it on the feet. And if he's losing in the striking, well, he'll take down Daniel Pineda. So he's got a lot more options than Daniel Pineda in this fight. He's like a 2-1, a little bit higher than that favorite on the betting odds. Probably shouldn't be that big of a favorite, but I agree, he is the favorite. And I got him winning 2 out of 3 rounds, 29-28 decision. I hope he gets a finish because Daniel does get hurt in a lot of his fights. Got knocked out by Cub Swanson. Lost to Georgi Karakanyan way back in the UFC, like 2012. He got knocked out by Antonio Carvalho. But, dude, like I told you, Tucker Lutz isn't really the KO TKO type of guy, so most likely this goes all the way. Tucker Lutz by unanimous decision. CJ Vergara and Daniel da Silva in the flyweight division. I'm going to say one thing. Round number 2, round number 3 for Daniel da Silva is not a good thing. I don't know what's up with him in those later rounds. Yeah, he lost in round number 1 to Francisco Figueiredo and Victor Altamirano and this random guy, Edelico Alves. I don't know who the heck that is. But round number 2 is where he really starts to fade. I mean, Victor Altamirano and Francisco Figueiredo kind of got him before he actually faded a little bit. But he tends to fade towards the end of round number 1, like in the Victor Altamirano one. And in round number 2, like he did against Jeff Molina. Jeff Molina went out there. I don't know why he was only minus 160. A little bit crazy, but the dude fades fast. He's very legit. Like, if he had 3-round cardio and could sustain what he does in round number 1 to every single round, the dude could probably be UFC champion. He's that good early on in the fight, but after he expends just a little bit of energy, his stock completely plummets. And CJ Vergara, we know he's been to a lot of decisions in the UFC. We're not talking about that Tatsuro Taira one. We know. But Ode Osbourne won, Klitschko Rodriguez. He looked very good in the later rounds of both of those fights. Still had energy, still coming forward and throwing. Daniel da Silva, I think he'll win round number 1. And CJ is going to look like a bat out of hell round number 2. Potentially, if it goes to round number 3, I'm going to go CJ Vergara with the TKO in the 2nd or 3rd round. Betting odds, probably have him as a big favorite. Oh, wow, minus 260 for CJ Vergara. I do have him by TKO. Nate Landwehr and Austin Lingo in the featherweight division. Age, I don't really care. Height, don't matter. Reach, don't really matter. They're all pretty even in that one. Experience for Nate Landwehr is insane. The man has only lost to Herbert Burns and Julian Erosa inside of the UFC. And then he's got 3 other solid wins over Ludovic Klein, who's also on the card. Was able to go out there and finish him. Darren Elkins by a unanimous decision, and David Onama in what was an absolute banger fight of the night type of performance. I mean, that was freaking insane. And he lost 2 fights to Herbert Burns and Julian Erosa, both with a knee. where his back was to the cage. So as long as Austin Lingo doesn't go out there and catch him with the knee, Nate Landwehr should be good. And I'm highly doubting Austin Lingo is going to catch him with a knee, because he's not really the finishing type. He's just staying at range, boxing a little bit, boxing for 3 straight rounds, and looking for a unanimous decision. This shouldn't really be a wrestling or grappling type of fight, but maybe there'll be a takedown or two. There's always that possibility in an MMA fight, but Nate Landwehr is just so far superior, in my opinion, in terms of the striking. He should go out there and win. I mean, he was a very, very slight underdog against Alex Caceres when those odds are out at plus 140. Probably going to be a pretty big favorite over Austin Lingo. I mean, David Onama was like a 4-1 favorite on Austin Lingo, and Nate Landwehr beat David Onama. So, I think David Onama is a lot harder of an opponent than Austin Lingo. This is a step down, in my opinion. I think Nate Landwehr goes out there, outstrikes Austin Lingo for 3 straight rounds, possibly even mixes in some takedowns, and I got a very dominant 30-27 unanimous decision. But if I know Nate Landwehr, he's going for that finish, so there's a possibility for a late 3rd round submission or TKO, but you never know. I'll go with Nate Landwehr, unanimous decision. Manel Kape and Alex Perez in the flyweight division. I'm going to go Manel Kape to go out there and get the TKO in this fight. If Manel Kape was as good of a grappler as he is a striker, yeah, I go Manel Kape by submission. But he's going to want this one to stay on the feet. He knocked out Ode Osbourne, Zhalga Zhumagulov, as well as David Dvorak. Wasn't a knockout, but he hurt David Dvorak so many times in that one. It is absolutely insane. Lost 2 fights to Alexandre Pantoja and Mateusz Nicolau. The Nicolau fight, probably a robbery in my opinion. And the takedown defense that Manel Kape showed in the Pantoja fight was very, very solid as well. So I think this one should be a 3-round striking battle. Perez is solid leg kicks as we saw against Jussier Formiga, but it don't matter. Manel Kape has more power, more speed, more explosiveness, and I'm hoping, I'm praying that the lengthier, younger, hungrier, up-and-coming guy in Manel Kape on a 3-fight win streak, I'm hoping he becomes the second guy to KO Alex Perez. The last time he got KO'd was Joseph Benavidez, and there's a good shot. There is a very good shot. Manel Kape could do it as well, but I don't know. If he gets a submission loss, or if he gets a finish loss, it's usually by submission, so I don't know. It's such a close one in my opinion. It could go either way for a KO or a decision, but I'm going to go Manel Kape by a decision. Again, I'm very, very much hoping Manel Kape goes out there and finishes him, because that'll really propel him in this UFC flyweight division to get some big fights in the top 5. But Alex Perez is not the guy that gets KO'd that often. Usually gets submitted, so I'm going to go Manel Kape by a unanimous decision. Albert Duraev and Njokuani. Well, that is interesting. And if you didn't, or if you were wondering, it's minus 210 for Manel Kape. Chidi and Njokuani, Albert Duraev. They're both 34 years old, height and reach. Well, obviously going Chidi. And yes, Albert Duraev is the better wrestler, but early on in the fights, Chidi and Njokuani has solid takedown defense. He looked good early on against Gregory Rodriguez, defending the takedowns and outstriking him on the feet, doing the same thing with Dusko Todorovic, knocking out Marc-Andre Barrio, Mario Souza. I mean, he's very good. He's actually a very solid jiu-jitsu guy as well, and the power that he has on his feet is crazy in my opinion. If Albert Duraev is able to survive round number 1 and round number 2, possibly he could win round number 3 and maybe win round number 2 as well and win a decision, maybe get a late finish on Chidi like Gregory Rodriguez was able to do. But I think Chidi and Njokuani goes out there, and I think he TKOs Albert Duraev. Albert Duraev's face gets swollen up very, very fast, as we saw in the Joaquin Buckley doctor stoppage loss. There's a good chance he's going to get hurt on the feet there's a good chance he's going to get clipped on the feet. There's a good chance he's going to get his eyes swollen again, some cuts on his face and things like that. The elbows of Chidi can cut him up and things like that. So I do believe Chidi and Njokuani is going to hurt him, cut him open, rock Albert Duraev early on in this fight. And if you know anything about Albert Duraev, if he loses a fight, it's by TKO. 3 KO wins, 4 KO losses. He's never lost a fight by a unanimous decision. So I'd say this one goes not to a decision, but a nice Chidi and Njokuani round 1 KO TKO. Macy Barber and Andrea Lee in the flyweight division. 24 and 34 years old, similar height. A little bit of a reach advantage there for Andrea Lee, but you already know, Macy Barber is going to be better in the later rounds. Round 1 should be even in my opinion, between Macy Barber and Andrea Lee. I believe the grappling and submission game probably goes Andrea. The wrestling will go Macy Barber. And then the striking is going to be very, very, very even. A lot of people going Barber in this one. I think the volume on the feet is going to be very even as well. The power is going to be quite even. I think the one thing that's going to win the fight for Macy is just going to be those takedowns. Just Murad Dvalishvili coming forward, getting those takedowns, and grinding this fight. That's what she does pretty much every single time. Decision Murad the Maverick, decision Montana De La Rosa, decision Jessica I. Lost decisions to Mata Ferry and Alexa Grasso. Yeah, we're looking at another decisions. 5 decisions in a row. Yeah, we're probably going to get another one here. Macy Barber's a 2-1 favorite. She probably shouldn't be that big of a favorite, but that's what I'm going to go. Macy Barber by a decision. Holly Holm and Yana Santos married to Thiago Santos. I don't know how long ago, but she's going to be younger by a lot. 41 years old and 33 years old. Same height, similar reach. Holly Holm is going to be the better striker, and she probably has the better takedown defense. Then Yana Santos was able to go out there and destroy Irene Aldana in their fight, beat Raquel Pennington, Megan Anderson, only losing to Amanda Nunes and a very, very close one to Ketlin Vieira. She's better striker than Yana Santos, and the grappling and wrestling, she's fought much better grapplers and wrestlers and has had very good success against those opponents, so she should be able to keep this one standing for the most part and beat Yana Santos in this fight. Yana just got knocked out by Irene Aldana, got knocked out by Aspen Ladd. I don't even remember the last time that Holly Holm's gotten a knockout. There's a good chance she could get one, and I'm hoping she does. That would be a good comeback for Holly Holm to go out there and get the KO TKO. But it's women's MMA, so I gotta go decision. Holly Holm by a decision. Marlon Vera and Corey Sandhagen in the bantamweight division. I'm going to go Marlon Vera the win. And they're the same age pretty much. The height and reach. Just the height is going to go to Corey Sandhagen. The reach goes Marlon Cheeto Vera. I'm legit going to go how Marlon Vera wins all of his fights. Let's look. First one, Davey Grant. Well, he just kind of outstruck him in that one. Frankie Edgar was losing. Got out-wrestled in the fight, got a little bit out-grappled, and then he started to outstrike Frankie Edgar in the later rounds and knock him the blank out. Rob Font was losing almost every single one of those rounds and then almost knocked out Rob Font multiple times. Dominic Cruz was losing a lot of those rounds, and then he knocked the blank out of Dominic Cruz in the later rounds. Do I think he's going to knock out Corey Sandhagen? No, Corey Sandhagen is very tough. He's never been KO'd or TKO'd as a professional MMA fighter. So no, I don't think he's going to go out there and get KO'd or TKO'd in this fight. I don't really think that's going to happen. But what I do think is going to happen in this fight with Corey Sandhagen and Marlon Cheeto Vera is that Corey Sandhagen is going to play it very, very safe. Stay out on the outside, move it. Getting out of the power shots of Marlon Cheeto Vera. And he's going to be on the defense. And Marlon's going to use his aggressiveness and move forward and pressure Corey. He's going to take in a lot of jabs and 1-2s and kicks on the outside from Corey Sandhagen. He's going to lose round number 1. Round 2 is going to be like the Rob Font fight, and he's probably going to hurt Corey Sandhagen a bit and win that round. Corey Sandhagen comes back and wins round number 3. Vera wins round number 4 with the harder shots. And then round number 5 is going to come down to that round. Marlon Vera is going to pressure forward and just start throwing on Corey Sandhagen. And I think he wins that round. It's going to be a close one, though. The odds, in my opinion, should be -110, -110. But I'm going to go Marlon Vera, the underdog, to win by a 48-47 decision. And after this, well, he is going to be the next guy in line to go out there and fight Sugar Sean O'Malley. So Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Chito Vera, number 2 versus number 3 in a rematch. That should be a fun one. So I got Marlon Vera by a unanimous decision, maybe even a split decision. It is a very close fight. So those are the full card predictions. We got underdog, got Marlon Vera, Holly Holm, Macy Barber, Chidi, and Njokuani by finish. Manel Kape, hopefully by finish, but most likely by decision. Nate Landwehr, I'm really hoping he gets a late finish like he does a lot in his MMA career, but, he might get a decision there. CJ Vergara by a late finish. Tucker Lutz decision. Trevin Giles decision. Steven Peterson decision. Brogan Walker decision. Victor Altamirano decision. Manuel Torres decision. And Tamires Vidal inside the distance. Round 2 or round number 3. So the only ones we have finishes for would be Tamires Vidal, CJ Vergara, Chidi, and Njokuani, as well as, I think that's it. That's like 4 fighters out of 14 fights that I think there's going to be finishes. And I don't think the main event will be a finish. There's a very, very solid chance that Holly Holm could, because she does have very good kicks in the bag. And Yana Santos has been knocked out a lot recently, so there's a good chance that could be a finish. Manel Kape is also very, very live to go out there and get the TKO. Like I said, Nate Landwehr is very live in the later rounds to get the TKO. So those are kind of 50-50 on the finish or decision or the finish or decision. And then obviously Victor Altamirano, Vinicius, Salvador. Those type of wars could always could always result into a finish. Manuel Torres has the KO power. Could be a finish as well. So there's a lot of fights in this card that could possibly have finishes, but I'm slightly leaning towards a decision. So those are the early full card predictions for UFC Fight Night. Vera versus Sandhagen. Put yours down below. Like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.